2018 to order. I'm going to ask the clerk for a roll call.
Mayor Weissman,
Here.
Vice Mayor Shelley,
Here.
Commissioner Landman,
Here.
Commissioner Dr. Marks,
Here.
Commissioner Narotsky,
Here.
Commissioner Weinberg,
Here.
Mrs. Grant,
Here.
Mr. Wolpen,
Here.
Commissioner Mizrahi is absent. You have a quorum.
Thank you so much. I'm going to ask Jayla Felix from Alonzo and Tracy Morning High School to please come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance of the United States of America
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, let me take a moment and wish everyone a happy and a healthy new year. And let me give a special warm welcome to our new city manager, Susan Grant, from the entire commission. We're delighted to have you here. Are there any deletions or additions to the agenda?
None from me, Mayor.
Thank you so much. At this point, we go to Employee Service Awards, and I'm going to ask the city manager to please go and present them.
And it is with great pleasure that I get to present my first service award to Susan Courtney. Great name, and thank you for your 10 years of service with the Aventura Police Department. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The next item on our agenda is the consent agenda. It's a rather long consent agenda for this meeting, and I'm going to ask if any member of the commission would like to remove an item from the agenda. Would you like to remove an item from the agenda?
I don't want to remove an item. I was just going to ask if maybe the attorney could give a brief explanation as to the multi-item one, so everyone knows.
I was going to do that, sir. I was. Because we have, I don't know, looks like about 15 items that are the same with
21, I think.
Okay, 21 that are the same with 21 different condo associations. So, City Attorney, will you please, just for the public, explain it?
Yes, Mayor. The traffic control jurisdiction agreements allow the city police department to continue enforcing certain traffic laws on the private roads that exist within the various condo association, homeowner associations, and apartment complexes that have private roads. The city has had these agreements in force for many years, almost since the beginning of the city, but the forms for these agreements were recently updated and made uniform so that they would be essentially the same for all of the various condos and associations. There will be still more of these agreements coming, as some of the condo associations were a little slower than others in getting the form signed and back to the city. So they're essentially the same, and they're for the protection of the public.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let me ask for a motion for approval. Moved by Commissioner Weinberg. May I have a second? Seconded by Vice Mayor Shelley. Can I ask the clerk for a roll call vote?
Commissioner Landman,
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Mizrahi is absent. Commissioner Narotsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Weinberg,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Shelley, Mayor Weissman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you so much. We have no zoning hearings tonight, so there will be no quasi-judicial public hearing. And the first ordinance to be read, item number 7 on our agenda, I'm going to ask the city attorney to read the ordinance.
Thank you, Mayor. First reading of an ordinance of the City of Aventura, Florida, providing for the submission to the electors of a proposed amendment to City Charter Section 2.03, election and term of office at paragraph C, limitations on lengths of service, to enable a term-limited commissioner to run for the office of mayor, providing requisite ballot language for submission to the electorate, calling a special election on the proposed amendment to the city charter to be held on Tuesday, the 28th day of August 2018, in conjunction with the county-wide primary election being held on said date, providing for notice of election, providing for election procedure, providing for inclusion in the charter, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Can I please have a motion for approval of the ordinance? Motion made by Vice Mayor Shelley. Can I have a second? Made by Commissioner Landman. I'm going to ask the city attorney to please review this item.
Thank you, Mayor. The purpose of this ordinance is to put before the voters at the August 28th, 2018 election a proposed amendment to the city charter, which, if approved, would, by the majority of electors voting on the item, would enable a city commissioner who has met the two consecutive term limit, total of 8 years of service on the commission. It would allow a commissioner to run for the office of mayor and be elected and serve as mayor for up to 2 terms if approved and elected by the voters at that time. The ordinance sets forth the various notices and procedures that are required, but the actual essence of the ordinance that the voters will see on the ballot is set forth on page 3 of the ordinance. That says eligibility to serve as mayor after service as commissioner. In an effort to assure a continuity of experience in city government and enhance the ability of the voters to elect an experienced commissioner as mayor, the City Commission proposes that the city charter be amended to enable term-limited commissioners to be able to run for election to the office of mayor and be able to serve up to 2 consecutive terms as mayor if elected. Shall the above described charter amendment be adopted, and then it allows the voter to select either yes or no. So this is what this provision is what the voters will actually see on the ballot, so then they can make the decision of their own free will whether to vote yes or no.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to open this item for public comment, and I'm going to request if anyone from the public has a question or a comment about it, and I do want to welcome the rest of the class from Alonzo and Tracy Morning here today. It's an assignment from school that they're observing a commission meeting. If anyone does wish to ask a question about it, please come up and state your name and address for the record. Seeing that there is no one for the public that has any questions about it, I'm going to close the item for public comment, and I'm going to ask if any members of the commission have any questions. All right, I do have one question, and my question, Mr. Attorney, goes to the last sentence on page 5 of 8, special election. This would be the regularly scheduled elections. We didn't want to incur any expenses with a special election.
Right, even though it's part of the regular primary election, because it's a item it's an item, it's considered to be a special election.
Okay,
I learned that from David Leahy many years ago, where he explained it to me.
very good. Anyone else?
I just want to reiterate to your point, it's a de minimis cost because of the fact that there is an election at that time regardless. Correct.
The city clerk would have a better handle on the costs, but it certainly does not incur the kind of costs you'd have from a standalone election, which would be cost prohibitive.
The Miami-Dade County Elections Department has provided an estimate of the projected cost to be $11,000. That does not include the advertising that we would have to do separately in the Miami Herald, noticing the special election and noticing the ballot and the canvassing board schedule, but it'll be around that amount.
Commissioner Landman.
Is that a similar cost to what we would incur if this went on the November election?
Yes.
Anyone else on the commission? Okay. With that said, I'm going to ask the clerk for a roll call vote.
Commissioner Landman,
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Mizrahi is absent, Commissioner Narodsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Weinberg,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Shelley, Mayor Weissman.
Yes,
The motion passes on first reading.
thank you. Item number 8, second reading, public hearings. I'm going to ask the city attorney to read the ordinance being considered.
Thank you, Mayor. An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Aventura, Florida, amending ordinance number 2016-13, which ordinance adopted a budget for the 2016-2017 fiscal year by revising the 2016-2017 fiscal year operating and capital budget as outlined in Exhibit A attached hereto, authorizing the city manager to do all things necessary to carry out the aims of this ordinance and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Can I please have a motion for approval of the ordinance? Motion made by Vice Mayor Shelley. Can I
I'll
have a
second.
second? Seconded by Commissioner Narodsky. I'm going to open this item for public comment. Anyone from the public? All right, I'm going to close the item for public comment, and I'm going to ask if any member of the commission has any questions or comments. Seeing as there are none, I'm going to ask for a roll call vote.
Commissioner Landman,
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Mizrahi is absent, Commissioner Narodsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Weinberg,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Shelley, Mayor Weissman.
Yes,
The motion passes on second and final reading.
thank you. The next item on our agenda is under 8, but it's item B. I'm going to ask the city attorney to please read the ordinance.
Thank you, Mayor. An ordinance of the City of Aventura, Florida, granting to Florida Power and Light Company, its successors and assigns, a non-exclusive electric franchise, imposing provisions and conditions related thereto, providing for a monthly payment of a franchise fee to the city, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Can I please have a motion for approval of the ordinance?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Marks. Can I have a second? Seconded by Commissioner Landman. I'm going to open this item for public comment. This is second reading. Okay, I'm going to close it for public comment. I'm going to ask if any commissioners have any questions or comments. Seeing as there are none, I'm going to ask the clerk for a roll call vote.
Commissioner Landman,
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Mizrahi is absent, Commissioner Narodsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Weinberg,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Shelley, Mayor Weissman.
Yes.
Motion passes on second and final reading.
At this point, we have no resolutions or public hearings that would accompany them. I'm going to ask if any of the commissioners have any reports or items they wish to discuss with the public. No? Okay. The holidays took a lot out of everybody. Normally, we have a student from CROP who comes. He will not be here tonight. He wrote an email saying they were off for the same holidays that we were off, so not much is happening this week. But I would like to say for the record that due to a suggestion from a parent of ACES, I've asked the city manager to please include an ACES student every month giving us an update of what's happening at ACES, and we'll extend the same thing to Waterways. All right, Commissioner Shelley?
Maybe somebody from the school would like to get up and give us a report.
I would love, that's Alonzo and Tracy Morning, yeah. What Vice Mayor Shelley has said, that if any one of you would like to get up and give us a short report about what's going on in your school, we would love to listen to it.
Love to hear it.
Activities, events, awards, whatever, we don't care. Whatever you would want to tell us.
Tell us a little about why you're here tonight. Maybe somebody would explain why you're here and what you're here to learn, and maybe we can answer some questions for you. Okay.
No, you have to come up.
You're the brave one.
I'm going to call your principal and make sure you get extra credit.
Yes.
Yes.
Please.
So we're all students of Mr. Hoover.
We're not like familiar with how these things work. I've never been to a public meeting before, and I don't think any of us have. So it's kind of cool to experience it and see how this goes, how it happens. It's interesting.
Is
Thank
it?
you for having us. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's like very organized. I didn't know what to expect, to be honest. So, yeah.
Well, I will have to say, as an educator, I think it's really important, you're all in high school, that you do take part in government. At the local level, it's really important, and we are delighted that you chose our commission meeting to come and attend, and I think I speak for everybody saying you're welcome anytime to come, and we'd love to hear what's going on in your school as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else? Now, I will call Mr. Shin tomorrow morning. That's a promise. You can. Okay, if there's nothing, someone else? And will you give us your name? Thank you.
Okay, so, hi, good evening. My name is Jessica Theodule, and I'm a senior at Alonzo and Tracy Morning Senior High. And we're all in the same class of Mr. Hoover. So the reason we're here today is because it's a grade, and it's a project grade too. So it's going to be, we have to do it. And we chose this one because we all go to Aventura Mall, and we're always sometimes in Aventura. So it's cool to come here. And myself, I'm a student government officer at school. So just seeing this type of setup and just seeing, do I wait?
You can keep going.
Okay. All right, yes. So just seeing this type of setup and seeing especially since I want to be a civil rights attorney or, just go somewhat in the law field, it's cool to see how the setup will be and things that I will encounter later on throughout my law career. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask you a question?
Commissioner Weinberg.
Okay.
Do you know where you're going to be going to college or where you want to go to college?
As of now, I plan to go to FIU and then expand my options from there.
And are you thinking about going to law school there as well?
Yes, of course.
Wonderful.
That's one of my options, but then, I still have a lot of time to explore my law universities to see which one I want to go to. But as of now, FIU for undergrad and then expand my, interest. Right.
Terrific. Thank you so
Terrific.
much.
And you did say your teacher's name was Hoover?
Yes, Mr. Hoover.
Mr. Hoover. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So when I make the call, I'll get the names right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
I'm
you.
Jessica.
Got it, Jessica.
Enjoy them all.
And please come back. Don't make this one and done. Come back. We really enjoy your being here, and we welcome it. With that said, I'm going to open the meeting for the public hearing. Robert?
Happy New Year to all. It's time to get back to work. I would like to bring up the opening amendment because we will need a ruling to be under the law. I've been covering the EDA work for the last 19 years. Now, we always had the philosophy that ADA from the city does not exist in the private condos. We have to be very careful the way we word it, because we don't want everybody coming to us with ADA problems in the private sector of the city. As far as I know, in the last 19 years, we drew a distinction between private condo and what we would do for them. And we don't want to set a precedent. Do you know what that means?
You know, Robert, this is one time I'm not sure that I really understood, but I know for 19 years you've been working on ADA issues with this city for over 19 years, and something you're saying about condos.
As far as I was told, the city has no jurisdiction in the private condo, and we have to be careful to leave it like that. Or we are going to open the city up to a lot of different litigation.
Well, again, I'm all of the condos have to meet all of the ADA requirements. And
But
when they don't, we send our code compliance officer out.
we are not, as far as I know, we are not responsible for what they do on private property.
A private property still has to meet the law. Private property still has to meet the law. But you know what, Robert? After the meeting, I'm going to ask the city manager to spend a few minutes with you, okay?
Okay,
Thank you so much.
I'm sorry, but that always concerned me. And tonight, you have to make a ruling on it. Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
time.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you very much. Is there anyone else? If not, I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn. Motion made, motion seconded. This meeting is officially adjourned.